Hello everyone, it's Narcom Kaplan from Moral Clarity. The beautiful Haifa coastline is behind me as always to remind everyone of what Gaza could look like if Hamas had turned it into Sharm el-Sheikh or Dubai or Singapore instead of a terror cesspit. Today I want to talk about something so obvious that it should need no discussion, yet it does. Many anti-Israel protesters do not just have different views on the Israel-Hamas war. They are outright insane. They are lunatics. There are no other fields, maybe outside of politics, where being as crazy as a cobra on steroids qualifies you to be quoted. But that is the case in the Israel-Hamas conflict. Let us start with the idea that these protesters are pro-Palestinian, as the media calls them. Pro-Palestinian is a completely meaningless phrase. Does it mean a one-state solution? A two-state solution? A confederation? Or what? These demonstrators are not pro-Palestinians. What they are is anti-Israel and anti-Jewish racist swine. I do not want to be insensitive. People with mental illnesses are in no way my target. It is just that the anti-Israel brigade are so deranged that there is no other way to describe them accurately or honestly. Just check out how many signs of psychosis they have, and you'll see what I mean. First up, they're delusional and they live in a state of denial. They are as deluded as someone who thinks Ernest Hemingway is typing away next to them. You there, Ernest? No, Ernest is not there. He's out for a drink. The anti-Israel mob holds a plethora of provably untrue and demonstrably fictitious beliefs, such as Israel is committing genocide, despite the Gazan population increasing, and that Israel is targeting civilians despite it having killed the lowest number of civilians in the entire history of urban warfare. To be wrong about something is absolutely fine. We're all wrong about many things, especially in the face of aggressive propaganda. Yet if you still believe something once it's been repeatedly proven untrue, then you are suffering from a severe delusion at that point. The fact that this delusion appears regularly in news reports does not make it true. It just means that the editors and reporters are delusional too. They are human beings and they are not immune from it. Those who know it's true but keep spreading this fiction, let's say that they have a flexible relationship with the truth and reality, shall we? In other words, they are liars, and lying like that is a common symptom of psychopathy. This one may seem a little odd, but it makes sense the more you think about it, is that many of these protesters are actually unaware that they have a delusion or they have a problematic delusion. You might think that that's always the case, but actually it's not. Many people with mental illnesses know that they have mental illnesses, which is unsurprising given they've lived with them their whole lives. People who hallucinate are well aware that other people do not see what they see. So rather than look at the evidence and change their opinions, which is a mark of intellectual openness and intelligence, they double down on their delusion and insist that Israel, Jews, Zionists, and whoever else is lying to them. This is where their delusion starts to bleed into a full-blown paranoia. At university campuses in particular, it is impossible to escape the protesters' narcissism. It looms larger than a Rwandan mountain gorilla. Their care about the Palestinians and Gaza is nominal at best. Nominal. The whole charade is just performative nonsense. It's all about them telling the world what they think and what they are doing about it and trying to get everyone to look at them. They act as though their feelings are the most important thing in the world. The news media then feeds this dysfunction by covering the protests as though they matter greatly. They do not matter. They barely matter at all. These protesters' beliefs, like their lives, are insignificant. All the psychiatric and psychological disorders connect in some way, because a major reason no one cares what these people think is that they are delusional and see things that are not there. If you see things that are not there, of course people are not going to take you seriously or pay attention to you. So it all comes back to the same delusion. Let me be absolutely clear. No one, and I mean no one, from downtown New York to the highlands of Indonesian Papua cares what these clowns think. It's far from clear that they even have any capacity for introspection at all. In fact, we could not even prove they are conscious if I want to be mean about it, and I do. Another giveaway that they have some kind of pathology is that the anti-Israel protesters always have a preoccupation with Jews and Israel. Nothing gives away these disgusting tapeworms anti-Semitism more than their obsession with Israel, which is outright weird and very strange. They have no interest in much larger and more deadly conflicts and natural disasters. No Jews, no news, as the old saying goes. Their obsession extends only to Jews because these protesters are mainly racist running dogs. There's no other way around it. When you ask them this, when you ask them why they only care about Israel and the Palestinians, they can never give you a coherent answer. I challenge you. Give it a try. I've been doing it for decades. It never fails. What it does do is produce a pathological defensiveness in the anti-Israel people that you're talking to, because irony does not feature large in their worldview. Despite waging violent protests, repulsive anti-Semitic campaigns, and calling for genocide against Israel and Jews, they whine like toddlers when faced with the most benign criticism. This lack of empathy is sociopathic. They cry and wail that they are victims of Islamophobia or anti-Muslim bigotry, to use a term that makes more sense because the term Islamophobia is complete gibberish and a hallmark of idiocy in anyone who uses it. Their lousy language skills notwithstanding, the anti-Semitic punks are racist bullies who think that they are victims mainly because, back to point one, mainly because they are delusional. Delusional is bad. Delusional and aggressive is worse, and that is what these people are. They are delusional and aggressive. Society's moral standards have fallen so far that these anti-Israel thugs think it is reasonable to engage in antagonistic and aggressive behaviour towards Jews and then have the police do nothing about it. I might be wrong about this one being a disorder. I could be wrong. It may just be that they're hooligans and reprobates. That's possible. But not knowing right from wrong, that surely involves some kind of pathology. Or at least it's outright evil. Cognitive dissonance is another favourite of the anti-Israel protester. Cognitive dissonance is when a person holds two or more incompatible beliefs at the same time. A perfect example of this would be Palestinian Authority president / dictator / autocrat / criminal / thug Mahmoud Abbas. He denies the Holocaust happened, while also claiming that Jews deserved it for their role in the economy. It is absolutely bonkers. You cannot believe these two things at once. Yet he does, and many, many others do as well. It kind of would be tolerable, if I'm kind, if these people just went and did their protests and came home. But they don't. A lot of these people are also suffering from poor occupational functioning. Now that's just a fancy way or fancy technical language for not being able to fulfill your work or educational responsibilities because you were so agitated by the nonsensical beliefs that have taken over your brain like a parasite. All the pathetic little boys and girls who cannot go to school or work because their colleague is a Jew or pro-Israel people work there as well fall into this category. I'm not a big fan of technical terms, so I just call them crybabies and wimps, because that is what they are. I could go on and on and on, but you get the idea. The case that a huge number of anti-Israel supporters are outright crazy is incredibly strong, and we should treat them as such. Anyway, that's all from me. Have a great week ahead. Have a read or have a listen and see if I'm right. And hopefully you'll see that my case is stronger than you will initially think.